lively and provocative production which offers revealing insights into their lives.
All them games, like dominoes.
Yeah.
One time I see white people play dominoes like this. Double three.
Yeah.
3-4. Well, my dad them plays like double 4.
Where you say, hold on.
Take that.
Take that. Well, watch it now.
Pass now, though, innit?
Where you say? Go on again.
Hey.
Go on again.
What? You pass again? Well, watch it now. Key.
Even when I was young, I used to look at Rasta and think, there's something just so powerful there, man. It's like they're royalty, coming like princes among men.
There's a wisdom they have.
And when you hear them, you think, that's it. That must be right. That's what it is. And you want to be part of it. And already you are part of it.
So it's not just fashion for you then, is it?
No, man. You still don't like this though, do you, Jackie?
Oh, it's not my style.
I'm telling you, this is the best I've ever had it, man. I've had it in extensions, I've had it shaved, dyed, perm, straightened, everything, man.
You don't like this either, do you, Jackie?
Let's just say I wouldn't go out with someone who looked like that.
I went to the barber, you know, and I had this square cut. And I was looking in the mirror and I thought, oh no. And the man said, don't worry, I got a cousin who look uglier than you.
You think that's funny, do you? I wouldn't tell nobody that, man.
But that makes you really cosmopolitan, doesn't it?
Yep.
So that's 2.5 years in Germany. Do you speak German?
Used to speak a bit,
Can you help me with this now? Milk and fruit.
Yeah. And after?
2 years in Cyprus.
Where do you want this?
In here.
You all right?
Yeah, fine.
So, speak some German.
Hat dir das Essen heute Abend geschmeckt?
What does that mean?
Have you enjoyed the meal this evening?
Yes, I have. Have you?
Yeah, it was very good.
Hey, Jackie, the food was good. Colin said so.
All of us in this program are actors, but this is not a fiction. It's come out of real conversations we've had about our lives, which we developed in drama workshops. All of us are speaking as ourselves and from our own experience. What we've done is draw it all together into an evening over dinner, where what we're talking about is the experience and the spirit of being black and living here.
I love you too.
Listen, I had this ragamuffin tape the other day. Hey, ragamuffin, love, come give me the ragamuffin. Hey, ragamuffin, love, come give me the ragamuffin.
I said life is a gamble, and I said life is a game.
And you know, I'm walking and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? And you can't explain it, can you? And that's what I mean when I say chameleon. More time when I'm at home talking to my mum, it's this Dominican accent that comes out, you know? Because that's the way we speak at home when we relax. But if someone else is there, it's just kind of standard English. It's so easy to switch.
And when I'm with a group of my girlfriend, black women, I just open my mouth and my style of speaking changes, regardless of me.
And your whole body is different, isn't it?
Why do you feel you have to do that stuff?
You just fall into it, man.
Yeah, but Eddie, how much of that is the natural way you speak?
I don't know why I bring you anyway with this.
I think it's something to do with the fact that it's something we can claim for ourselves, man. I remember when I was at school, right, there was one thing the white people couldn't do, the patois. Because number one, it sounded stupid, and number two, it's ours, man.
You know, it's funny. My mum tried to beat it out of me, literally. Hold me down, you know. And kapai! Not talk so. Them not teach you how to speak proper at school. But I didn't want to let it go, because I enjoyed it. And two, I felt it was heritage. And it was like, Mum, what are you saying? You can't speak nothing else and you're trying to beat it out of me?
See, I didn't have that at school. A load of black mates.
So how does your family speak, Colin?
My mother speaks with a strong West Indian accent. My dad had a scholarship education, so he's more standard anglicised. Plus, he's been in the RAF for about 25 years, so...
And you?
I've never lived anywhere for more than 2 years, except when I went to boarding school in Cambridge.
Public school.
Yeah.
You in public school?
That's what I mean. We've all got 3 voices.
I wasn't allowed to speak dialect at home because it came from Jamaica, and my family's from Trinidad.
Where are your parents from, Jackie?
Jamaica.
Yeah, me too.
So mine.
What about you, Sly?
My mama, Jamaica. My father, St. Kitts.
Boy, small island boy.
The smallest, 2 men and a donkey.
Where?
So, Anthony, where are your parents from, man?
They're from Ireland.
Which island?
Island.
Not many black people in Ireland.
So is it your mother or your father that's black?
Neither. I thought you knew.
What?
Neither. You're telling me?
They're Irish. One born County Kerry, one born Tramore. They're both white.
I could have swear you was at least half caste. Why? You mean all this time I know you, I'm taking you for one thing. Did you know?
Yeah, I knew. But we never really talked about it.
Did we, Ann?
Okay, let's clear all this up. Both of my parents are white.
No, man, I don't believe.
And so their parents, and so their parents, and so their parents.
I don't believe.
What, you don't believe like I'm lying or something?
Well, it's like you could be lying too, you know.
So hang on a minute, you're telling me you're white, like back and back?
What do you mean he's white?
Good point.
He ain't no white man.
Yeah, but he looks mixed race.
Black is black.
I want my baby back.
Your eyes are blue as well.
What makes him black?
Well, what do you see when you look at him?
Yeah, but what makes him black?
What do you see when you look at him?
It amazes me. The man speaks in tones and dialects and tongues.
It's done with mirrors, ain't it, Ant?
So how come you speak in dialect then? Where does that come from?
He's blacker than you know, man.
Do you know what I mean?
I wonder how he copes with it all.
What I want to know
Hey,
is...
one at a time.
What, we need a chairman now, Lenny?
What I want to know is there must be someone in your family who's black. Must be, innit?
The milkman.
Did you hear what he said about your mother?
I heard.
Anthony, was your mum dealing with a black man?
Oh, come on, Eddie, man. What's the matter with you?
What do you mean, come on, Eddie, man? What's the matter with you? I'm only asking what you lot want to know.
Hey, Eddie, man, rest yourself.
Oh, that's enough, man.
Hey, hold on. Before this goes any further, all right? Anthony's got brothers, and all of them look the same, all right?
No, it ain't that. And yes, they are my real parents. I mean, I've looked at my brothers, my mum and my dad, and yeah, it's obvious they look like my parents.
This must be hard for you, because you have to deal with this all the time, I bet.
At what age did you realise your blackness?
Well, up to the age of about 13, 14, I never really thought about it. At all. I mean, I remember the black kids at secondary school looking at me like, why aren't you over here a bit more? But I never really clocked it, you know?
Come to think of it, it must be weird, you know.
Ant, tell him about the Cubs.
One time, I was in the Cubs, and one night during break, we was all running around the courtyard making a whole heap of noise. And the dog started barking. Caretaker comes out. Mean, evil bastard, right, with pebble glasses. And he's like, clear off, or I'll set the dogs on you. He took a notice. Suddenly, there's these two Alsatians chasing across. The other kid I was with went jumping over this wall, and I'm crouched down at the end of this alleyway. I heard footsteps. I just knew it was the caretaker. I looked up at him, and his face scared me. And he's like, don't turn around. The dog's right behind you. And all I've got to do is click my fingers, and he went, but he don't click. And he's gonna get you. And suddenly he goes, run, nigger! And boy, I ran. And I swear I did not hear the fact that he said nigger till years later.
Bastard.
There was no dog behind me, by the way.
How do your parents take it?
Well, it might sound stupid, right, but we've never actually sat down and chatted about it. I mean, my mum's not questioned it in any way, what's happening in front of her eyes. And I've only seen my dad once in the last 5 years since this big bust-up we had one night, and the family's divorced, and...
Can I ask you something? Do you think all that has something to do with what you and your brothers look like?
No, I don't think so. I mean, families argue and split up and kill each other for all kinds of reasons apart from that.
Truly.
I mean, one time last year, I was walking down my mum's way, and there was something burning in me to tell her that I loved her. So I knocked on the door and I said it, and the lady just broke down. And I broke down, and I went to take a step in the door, and she's like, no, come back another time, yeah? Please? I mean, we just seriously don't talk, yeah?
So she doesn't know where it comes from?
Yeah, but you look like a black man. Could fool anybody.
Hi.
He's just like...
You're cheeky, you know that?
So are you his bodyguard now?
I'm not walking around to fool.
Everything about you, your hair, your lips, is freaky. And I'm telling you, you even dress like a black man. Your hat and everything.
The hat was a conscious decision.
So why did you do that?
Well, when my hair was shorter, it looked like a little afro, and people just assumed you're half caste, didn't it? And when I was younger, I used to go, no, and try to explain, and after a while, I just got sick of it. The explaining, and is he this, and is he that, and the scrutinisation, and you're lying, man. One day, I'm walking through Brixton, and there's this man selling hats. And I stood there for a second, and I bought one. And since then, people don't question it. I mean, they see a shape being cut on the street, and they just do not question.
Same.
I mean, I didn't even question it.
I don't care what anybody says. I just see you as being black. I mean, we take you in. We adopt you. That's why I call you honorary black.
Oh, Eddie, you can't say that, man. He ain't no honorary black man.
I knew you'd rise to that. You're so easy.
But Anthony, it's not as easy as that, is it? Because until you were 13, you were white, right? So that's got to be a dilemma for you, because that's everybody's formative years.
It's your little brother. How does he cope with it?
He's, confused. I mean, you can see that he's beginning to take some of it on.
Come to think of it, Anthony's not said he thinks he's black, you know. He's not said that in this room tonight.
Anthony, what colour do you see yourself as?
Don't ask him to say he's black.
It's an obvious question, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, when I'm alone in my bedroom, looking in the mirror, thinking about the stuff I've written down, thinking about my past, relationship-wise, pictures on the wall, I think I'm a black man. I've not said that to anyone, and I won't say it outside. I mean, I just won't.
You can't say that. Just like that.
More time, I just say I'm Anthony.
Regardless of how Anthony decided to run his life, he would never be able to live his life as a white man, pure and simple.
But ultimately, there's no choice, is there?
That's it.
Exactly.
Do I need to plate for table, Jack? Yes, please. Okay, thanks, Claire.
All right. Why did you say that to him?
Because I meant it.
Anything you say to him, he takes it to heart, you know. He hears it.
That's why I said it.
So you're saying he ain't got no right to say he's a black man? I don't think you have any right to tell him that.
I just think he might say it too soon. For people like you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, you meet him as he is now. I've known him for 6 years. I see the difference. Every time I look at him, I see what he was and what he is. And it's all a progression for that guy. You put one foot down here, so the next one follows there.
You check him as a black man, right? And then you find out about his parents and you think, well, maybe he ain't black. And then you think he is black. But what makes him black? And then it's like you're watching him, you know?
Yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah, I suppose. Just let me have my own space for just 5 minutes without people talking in my ear and scrutinising and...
All right.
Sorry.
No, man, what for?
You haven't got a clue, man. I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying you don't.
You seem like you hold it down all the time.
Something I've got to go through.
You know when it hits me like that? You know what I do? I remember my mum teaching me that one to go to bed. Remember that one? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom
My
come.
dad used to call us down. Every Sunday evening, 7 o'clock after dinner. All of us lined up against the settee, looking up at the wall and the white Jesus. But then again, I wasn't thinking that back then. Pray for your brother. Pray for Mum. Pray for peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Yeah. You know, I used to do that prayer every night on automatic. And then one day, you know, I just took it to pieces. And I said, Our Father, that's my God, who art in heaven.
And I changed that to my mind. Hallowed be thy name. I call on him. Thy kingdom come. That force, that power, just come. On earth, in my actions, my emotions, as it is in heaven, in my mind. And then it goes on to say, give us this day our daily bread. Yeah. And I changed bread to my lesson. It's a lesson, man. It's a lesson. And then for the test of forgiveness, it goes on to say, lead us not into temptation. Don't let me lose control. Don't let me lose control.
You made that sound easy, man.
No, man. There's times like when I know my anger. If I let my anger get the better of me, I'd be behind bars. I could crack up simply because of my vulnerability. And deliver us from evil. And I changed that to my ego. You know?
You know, sometimes, all the time, I feel like I'm on a treadmill and like I'm walking or running towards something and all my everyday has to go into that running and I can't stop because if you stop you just go back.
I used to be the bum, man. And this guy left you with 7 balls on the table. He gave you a wash.
Yeah, well, he might be able to play pool, but he don't belong in no pool house. I mean, I took him there with me one time, and the man just does not fit in.
Well, I didn't expect the vibes that I felt, did I?
Exactly. Where you've been living, man, you're going to get that reaction.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because to them, the way you speak, you come in like a white guy. And if every time they hear that whiteness and that middle class, and it represents everything that's a threat to them, against them, and then they see someone who's apparently one of their own carrying that same flag, then they're going to be weary, ain't they?
So you'd be happy if I went round talking like that and thing all the time?
Nah, because you can't do it.
But you think I should try?
You're a coconut. Uncle Tom sellout.
Sylvester.
Who is this guy? Is he serious?
Has it ever been said to you before?
No, not till now. Tell me more.
Sit down, Sly. Sit down. He's saying that you don't talk like no black man.
Maybe no black man he knows.
Well, it's true, Colin. When I first met you, I didn't check for you at all. But then even in this small time, I've seen you for more than what my preconceived ideas actually was.
Good, now we're getting somewhere.
And there's an agreement there. But that was my first impression. Very middle class and separated from black people, so to speak.
But did you hear what he just said?
What?
You separated middle class from black. Automatically, why'd you do that?
Hold on a moment. I mean, I've had a middle-class existence. I haven't experienced a lot of the things black people have experienced, but within that, people know I'm black and mistake me as that. I mean, my parents, they made a little bit of money owning houses, and they always said to us, you must never live in a council house. You must always have a base of your own.
So you moved to Somerset and live with sheep.
You lived in Somerset? But you don't talk with that straw hat kind of ooh-ar kind of accent, do you?
She ain't a farmer either.
For 7 years or so, I was married to someone who lived down there.
Black man.
No, white, actually. I mean, I lived in London before I went country.
It wasn't street London, though, was it?
No, it wasn't.
See, I get that all the time. I'm not black enough. But how it comes across to me, you're not asking me to be more black. You're asking me to be more street.
Look, Colin, there's got to be room for people to go to public school, right? There's got to be room for that.
Because that one portrait of black dominates. I mean, there are a whole load of working-class black people who aren't the media's image of street. And it excludes me, my family, and a whole heap of other people who don't happen to live in London, Birmingham.
But, on the other hand, I know why them brothers them on the street are doing a little hustle and trying to make the little raise. I mean, I was one of them, but I had an out. I won't condemn them. I mean, what is there for them brothers? Hmm? What is there? True. And I'm not saying that I'm middle class or well off or anything, but I know one day, touch wood, I'm going to get another acting job.
Or at least the possibility's there. I mean, for Eddie, his horizon's just broader.
Truly.
But what are you meaning when you say middle class?
To me, it means somebody who's progressed enough to turn around and help.
We should be everywhere. It shouldn't be a surprise to see a black lawyer. And it shouldn't be obvious that all the cleaners are black.
Yes.
And it is, always, everywhere. Check it.
Truly.
That's why we need black people in positions of power, or it's just going to stay like that.
Yeah, but it's so sad, right? Those people who reach those places, it comes like a trap too, you know.
See it there?
If you have it, Tutus, you don't think about anybody else who hasn't got those things. And when people say to you, listen, these are hard times that we're living in, you think, well, I can't see no hard times, but you're blind to understanding that it's your brothers and sisters that are in hard times.
But are you saying that we shouldn't want to move ourselves there?
No, man, that's not what I'm saying.
Because if we don't, we're just going to stay in a heap at the bottom and we're putting blocks on ourselves.
I mean, when I grew up, there was no one that you could aspire to, and we're talking 60s, yeah? So, I mean, no one. I mean, it just seemed to me that black people were relegated to the lowest common denominator.
Hey, when I was growing up, there was only one person for me to be. Like, I want to be that. And that was Muhammad Ali, the black super. When Muhammad Ali was on television, the whole world stopped in my house. Mum was there, uncles, everybody.
It was an event.
It was like a prayer meeting.
Truly.
But it wasn't that he was a black boxer, because they were all black boxers. It was that he was a symbol of a proud black man.
Oh, what? You know, when I look at myself, the thing that frightens me sometimes is I don't know that I can do the hustle or that I belong in the blues 100% anymore, you know?
Me neither. But you don't lose it, yeah?
You shouldn't.
Because it's not so much moving up as moving on. Keeping that route, not severing the connection as you go.
We fight in different ways, each influencing the circles that we're moving in. I mean, Colin, he mixes with university people, which I don't reach.
Yeah, we each have a different background.
But it's the difference between Elizabeth Welsh and Paul Robeson. Elizabeth Welsh was saying, I'm going to run up as high as I can so that people can look up at me and see that black people can do it. And that does not wash. Paul Robeson was saying, every step I take, I'm taking for millions of Americans, black Americans. And when he was earning 100 grand a year and living in a big house with a bowling alley he had made inside, the world looked at him and said, you are a great man. And he said, no, because I still have a consciousness that some of my relatives cannot read or write.
Seen.
Or they don't work, because there's those who won't employ a black man.
So it's like he never moved away.
You can't move away because that's where your strength is.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more.
I used to hear that when I was so high at home.
Oh, woman, don't you treat me so mean. You're not the meanest thing that I ever seen. I get a city for you to say, shut up. I have to pack my bags and go. Hey.
It's like she has more in her life now than just us kids and her work.
Yeah, my mum said to me one time, everybody should go to school when they're 40, and she did that for herself.
Yeah, my mum did that. She always wanted to teach, but she thought that she couldn't, you know, because she left school at 15.
My mum always says, whatever you do, know you have something from it. You've been doing television work for how long now? What you can tell me you get from television? A little cord rice? A little socks? Her theory is you get something from every job you do.
Oh, I still do. A specific something from each job.
She came over here with one cardigan and one bar of soap and started working in a shoe factory. I think she's the greatest human being on the face of this earth. I mean, she's managed to do things like, in 1983, she saved 10 grand from earning like 40 quid a week or something to put down a deposit on her house. I mean, she was so determined. It's the only thing she's got on HP, you know, the house.
Are you proud of her?
Yeah, because she's done it. She's always been capable. I remember where we used to live, it'd always be her who said, let's hire a coach and take all the kids to the seaside. You know, them things other people ain't got time for. But this is a big change for her now, though.
It was the first time the books came into our house. And it was the first time that our house became consciously black, in a way that my sister's house was.
Same.
Marcus Garvey suddenly went up above the record player.
The poster.
Yeah, the one with a man without a knowledge of his history.
A man without the knowledge of his history is like a tree without roots. I got that.
Have you got the Malcolm X one?
Liberate our minds by any means necessary. Yeah, I got that too. But like my house now, right? When I'm buying things for it, or when I see a poster and I say, yeah, I'm definitely putting that up. It's like, it's a more consciously black environment my kids are getting raised in, if you know what I mean.
Dale's 6, yeah?
Mm.
Is he asking questions?
Long time ago, he asked me if Jesus was black or white. I said to him, I ain't never seen a true picture of him, but it says in the Bible that he had hair like lamb's wool, so that's like yours.
So it's in his mind already.
Mm. Remember that time when there was all that South African news coverage, and you see black people running and white people beating them with sticks. And he said to me, Mummy, why are they doing that? And
I was asking my mum exactly that same question at exactly the same age, begging her to answer it, and she couldn't.
I just try and explain things to him the best that I can.
I wasn't really bad or whatever, but school never really held anything for me. It was when I came out I started to learn. And when I did start reading books on black history and so forth, in those couple of years my whole life changed. Just started opening my mind. And then I started to pick up books on spiritualism and books pertaining to meditation, which was my progression. But the one I started with was Destruction of the Black Civilization. And then I read, and 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 then I stopped. And I just looked at the world. And it was like, get up and do something, man, militant. You know, and there was no white man that was going to communicate with me on any level where I was going to give him any space. And I could say that through that time, I went through a great deal of hatred. Truly. Anybody white, I could just as easily say to them that they are sons and daughters of whores, and their father's the lowest barbarian animal known to man.
You can't use those words.
Once you say that, what do?
People just close their ears.
I'm only saying what they made of my forefathers and mothers. For them to do that to people must say something about their mental state.
Yeah, historically I can't argue with that, but...
When I think of slavery, when I put my own mother in those times, myself, and people close to me, you know the images they bring up to me? The rape, the spirit being torn out of somebody.
Do you think there's such a thing as race memory? I do. 'Cause sometimes you hear it and you feel it.
Even in the ships, when they're coming over, just crammed up in there, man. Rats biting you. You have to sleep in your own shit for days, weeks. The mere degradation they had to go under. People just want to die and can't die, you know?
Sly, I still think you need to find an easy way to say it, but then you stand a better chance of it being heard.
Even if you try to find the nicest way to say it, it's bitter, it's hard, and it's harsh on the ears. What's your name? Colin McFarlane. That means somewhere back you had Scottish masters. My masters were Williams.
Yeah, I know.
When they were brought here, they never said, my name is McFarlane. They said, my name is Mandinka, or Ashanti, or Igbo. And that was beaten out of them and stripped from them.
The people that didn't do that had to die.
And I know if I say that, white people are going to get their backs up. But my answer is, it was done to us. And I'm only saying it to them.
Can I tell you something? Serious.
I can feel the seriousness.
Sometimes I feel like you're watching me. Watching me to say, this equals a black man. And then you're taking it from me and sticking it on yourself, and then you've got it and gone.
That's not what I'm doing.
More time, I see you walk in the door and I see something that's been added. And I want to know, is that me?
I'm not taking anything from you. Sometimes you meet someone, yeah? And it's like they kind of wash through you. I mean, you opened my eyes to a whole heap of things.
All I'm saying is, I am who I am because of my mother and my father and back, and you're not.
Yeah, I know. But you know that I don't go home at night and drape it all over a chair. I mean, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I just want to make sure you're all right. Underneath it all. Underneath the Mandela T-shirt. And when you go and see your mum, is it the Mandela T-shirt you wear? Or some bloody shamrock or something? What language you dream in, Ant? Are you all right?
I am.
I know you are.
Yeah, I know you know I am.
Yeah, well, I know you know.
I saw my dad yesterday.
Yeah, Claire said.
first time in 5 years. And I suppose I built up all these expectations, you know? We chatted rubbish for about 5 minutes or so, and suddenly I'm going, Dad, what did you think when I was born? And he's like, I don't understand. So I'm telling him, Dad, I can't get white parts. Whatever white parts is, I can't. Most of my work is given to me by Umoja, or Black Theatre Forum. Are you hearing me, Dad? African People's Theatre. This is just revelation to the man. You don't know how weird it is to be sitting opposite your dad and him saying, you're white, in his eyes. Because he's white. Because he married a lady who was white and they had a kid, and that kid is sitting opposite him saying,
You're black.
yeah. More there than anywhere. He says to me, I've got an identity problem, and the sooner I sort myself out, the better. Meaning, the sooner I become the old Anthony again. And it's not going to happen, Lenny.
Quango! Johnny Quango!
Oh, yeah, first brother.
Wrestling on ITV Saturday afternoon. This black guy used to go around headbutting everybody. Everybody looked like that.
Hey, listen. I was watching the wrestling one time with some white friends I used to hang around with, right? And I tell you, man, we're watching the television, and then out of the blue, these people just start saying, beat the nigger! Beat the nigger! Oh, sorry, Sil, we don't mean you.
Oh, you don't like the rest of them?
You're right.
You're different.
Yeah. And then back into the cheering like nothing happened, you know? I didn't say nothing to them, but for me it was a turning point. No, these people are not my friends. Not in a way to understand.
But that's avert. People ain't good at that kind of racism in this country. More time it's like when you go into a shop and they hold your change.
Yeah, and they catch it, you know what I mean? Or just slam it down on the counter.
Or they're holding their handbag tighter as they pass you by in the street.
Yeah, and it's like, what are they seeing?
They're seeing what they read in the newspaper, innit?
I was reading this story the other day, and it was a rape on an estate. And I was reading this thing, and I was reading it, and I was reading it. And I got down to the bottom, and it was like...
Relief, innit?
And that's terrible, man, because this poor girl got raped. And that should have been my main concern, but it wasn't. My main concern was that it wasn't a black man. More time, because if one black man raped, all of them.
It's like
Truly.
people step out of my way in Sainsbury's. I mean, they literally step aside, you know?
Well, if you're walking down the street in my area, white people stop me and ask me for drugs. And they don't even know me.
And most people, you're trying to explain that to them, and you can't. It's like, unless you feel it, you'll be accused you've got a chip on your shoulder.
Truly. I feel now that they don't see me and I don't see them.
I just cut them off totally.
But you can't just say, all my friends in my life that are white, I'm going to blank them. Because one day in the future they might step out and hurt me.
It's people that you know for years, you know.
But it does get like, is it just a matter of time? And I hate to say this, right? But in my life, it's as close as blood relatives, you know. I mean, white people in your family, even they can cut you.
It's heartbreaking.
Truly. And I mean, I would like to be able to trust them, but ultimately you don't, man.
Yeah, but that's the difference in our track records too. Because when things have happened to me, it's been a white person who's been there for me because the majority of my friends are white. But you also have to check that I'm deemed acceptable. I'm safer for them because I speak their language, literally. I'm aware of that.
Well, I'm not interested in what white people think anymore.
Truly.
Yeah, but you can't just say that.
Why?
Why not?
Well, if you say you're not going to speak to them or be open with them, then how the hell are they going to learn?
When I meet someone, I mean, I take on board their culture, be they black, white, Indian, Chinese, whatever, and then we meet each to each.
Yeah, that's really good. But more time, the person you're dealing with, their perception of my culture isn't one I'm prepared to accept, because it's wrong.
See it there?
Yeah, but do you think that they always see the negatives?
Yes, most.
Nothing in my life leads me to believe otherwise.
Yeah, well, I don't operate like that. I mean, I don't have them kind of suspicions, not all the time. I try not to.
What we have to do now is look inward and see what we can be doing for ourselves.
We are.
There's no point just blaming a white enemy.
You can't see it, man.
I question that.
If you live amongst it, there's loads going on. I mean, just around my area, there's places where black kids are going for 1 or 2 hours in the evening.
Or all day Saturday.
Yeah, to where someone's turned their house into a schoolroom, where they can learn about black history, black culture.
Even the food, man.
Yeah, and it's happening, Colin.
Yeah, but not enough people know about it.
They're full, though.
Having to prove yourself against white people is what we've had to do for too long. reasoning with black people. That's what interests me now.
See.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Absolutely.
Well, Jacqui Gordon-Lawrence, I'm here to say you stimulate my entire sensitivity.
Hey, you like that, man? I will love you like rice and peas. The food was nice, isn't it?
Nice. All right, then. Well, Hollywood FM has come here today to give you a little tribute. Tune me in, no lionhead. And give me the roar. All right, now, we're coming with the bass line. Are you there?
This is a journey into the sound.
Every night on my knees I pray. Dear Lord, boy, hear my plea. Don't ever let another take a love from me, or I will surely die. Her love is heavenly. When her arms enfold me, I hear a tender rhapsody. But in reality, she doesn't even know me. Just my imagination once again running away with me. It was just my imagination running away with me.
I just don't want my children ever to experience the feeling that I've experienced, which I think comes down to being unwelcome in the place you was born in. I always say I want to go to Zimbabwe.
Boy, I would love to land someplace where the natural thing to be was black, you know?
Takes money, though. I have to think in terms of winning, like I always do the bingo in the paper every day. I think if I won, I'd give some to my mum, and I'd give some to my sister, and I'd get myself out.
No.
It was disheartening for me when I went to the motherland, and to see those people there worse than where I just come from. Because of my lifestyle and where I was born and that, I don't get to mix in those high circles here. But I was there with a production, and I was like a star. And I got to mix with them government people. And they is corrupt.
Still, I feel that there would have to be people there who wanted things to be the way I want things to be. Because then I could be with them in making things that way.
Couldn't do it to stay.
And you know, even the system of voting in this country don't work.
Yeah.
It always turns out more people didn't vote for the Prime Minister than did. Plus, I always feel removed from them people, man. I mean, I know what they do affects me, but still it seems that way, you know. They don't have any respect for me. They don't know me.
I simply do not accept their argument that this is their country because they're white. I want to say, you're lying. This is my country because I'm black. Not only my grandfather fought for this country, but my heritage is people who have bled for this country.
And built it.
Yeah. And the money that this country and America live on comes from the fact of black people. They owe us, Claire.
So what? You're going to keep on trying to change things until you die? Here? African people have to come together, man. Build something of our own. And they ain't never going to let us do that here. They just keep us on the edge of things.
Well, that's the difference between me and you, then. If they gave you a megaphone, you would say, get out.
Too right.
If they gave me a megaphone, I'd say, come round my house. We've got to talk.
I was ready to leave my friends and family just to get out of this place. And when the opportunity came for me to go to Africa, it was like, yeah, I'm in business. And when I went there, it was like, no. I just stood at the airport and cried, man, because of the concrete. I had no idea there was going to be so much concrete.
Don't make me think like that, man. Because then it's like I'm lost, you know? This whole world, I'm lost. Because when you really look at it, right? Even though I want to go to Africa, what do the Africans see me as?
And you know, that will hurt you even more.
I don't say I don't feel that lostness. It's like you can't put your hand on anything and say, that belongs to me.
And then comes that urgent feeling that I don't want my children ever to feel like this. So I have to get them somewhere. But if I find myself on the outside there, I might as well go to the moon.
But Claire, if I say you're not going to give me anything so I'm leaving, then they've won.
For me, this is already my home. I'm just having to deal with people who are in my home that don't accept it, you know? Feel it in the one drop. And we still got time to rock, making this one stop. The generation gap, so feel this drum beat as it beats within, playing the rhythm. I know Jah never let us down. Know your rights from wrong. I know Jah never let us down. Oh no, oh no, oh no. They make the world so hard. Every day you got to keep on fighting. They make the world so hard. Every day you got to keep on fighting. Give us the teachings of His Majesty.
If you ain't black, you're white.
No. You're saying it like, at the end of the day. The whole point is the whole conversation. You're putting a full stop on me, and it ain't fair.
From when you know you're black, that's when the journey begins. There's a whole heap of questions you haven't answered.
Sometimes I think, are you seeing this like some kind of course for me? Like a 6-week course, yeah? And by the end of it, I need to come out of a certain kind of attitude, and if I don't, I failed the course.
That sounds horrible,
Yeah,
man.
I don't mean it as nastily as it sounds, but that is how it feels. It's like you're waiting for me to do something.
I am. To do something in your life.
Yeah, I know. But I can't really do it.
You see you, right? You're going to be 80. You're going to look back and think, I wish I lived my life as a black man.
And you think I don't?
No, you do. But you don't. It's not just the words.
You're too heavy with me, man. All the time, you're heavy with me.
You need some peace for yourself, man. To just be. It's like everything's fretting until you come to rest, and you're going to rest at black. So you might as well just do it. It's tiring for you, man. It's tiring for me just watching you.
But Lenny, you can't change a man. Not even in combating racism, I can't do that. All I can do is challenge him, because I believe I have the right to do that. And whether I make him see something, it's holding a mirror.
You, as yourself, you don't have the power. Me, as myself, I don't have it. But my power, plus his power, plus his power...
is more power, yes, I
Exactly,
agree with you.
Sly.
I agree with you, right? 100%. But the mistake black people are always making is that they're forever looking for a messiah. Too many people feel inadequate.
One of the things that's lacking at the moment is a focal point. Because that leadership brings people into the fight, into the conversation.
And when our great leaders get killed, Garvey, X, people do lose heart. Things come to a halt because they don't realize that they have that same power inside themselves.
But the great leaders are great because they speak to the spirit of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And one of the most vivid threads of our heritage is that spiritual thing. The strongest weapon we've had as black people, and a defense in ourselves.
You know, all of us, what we're asking for in the end is nothing. I mean, it's nothing. Respect is straightforward. And with all the toing and throwing and talking, it gets like it must be something really big. But it's not. It's just simple and decent, you know?
It's like to have black in your family is something shameful, man.
Yeah. It's only now my mum's telling me, yeah, that when I was a baby, people threw stones at the pram because they thought my mum was with a black man. And I'm thinking, there are people who live in this country that do that kind of thing.
There's enough of them, man.
You know, one of the things my mum taught me and my brother was, anything you do, they're going to say to you, Phyllis's children did that. So anything you do, you make sure you could say your mother will be proud of you. And that's the way I run in my life ever since.
Yeah, but I think that question, are you proud to be black, is already defensive.
Truly.
It's only when you find out all the things that have gone behind that put you here now that you can say, and I truly mean it, I am proud. I am so proud.
I see it as we've got so much to be proud of, man. More than you could ever hope to know in your whole lifetime. And I know I say that now, right? But there was a time when I thought I could grow up and be white. I mean, I wanted to be.
You used to put a towel on your head and just flick it, you know?
Oh, you know, Slur.
My sister used to do it.
I also remember writing stories, you know. I want to grow up and be Queen of England. For God's sake, man.
I remember when I was playing God in the mystery plays in Chester, and after one performance, this black kid came up to me and he said, "It was so good to see you up there." And it was like a boost for him. And it's a small thing, you know, but it meant a lot to me too.
And it just give you that vibe, innit? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
On the other hand, one night I came out for God's opening speech, and I'm high up on this 40-foot scaffolding, and this white kid in the audience goes, "He must be playing the devil."
The flip side, man.
Truly. And where does he get that from?
It runs deep.
I've met quite a lot of older people who, when they say, "I'm proud to be black," what they're really saying is, I should be damn proud after having to put up with it for so long, you know?
Yeah, I should get respect for just doing that.
I don't even think I gave my dad respect for that. Not till late. I'm talking about 85. I went to work with him in Stockwell. He's a master carpenter.
That's mine.
Mine's too, you know.
And sometimes when they get to the house to do the first fixing up, they ain't even got roof, window frames and everything. It's amazing. I see my dad put up stairs, you know, and architraves for doors. And after I worked with him, I thought, you work hard. You work really hard.
And did you tell him that?
Nah, you don't, do you?
We're talking about a journey, though, that's taken a lot of our lifetime. I mean, it's my job to see that not only my kids, but I mean all the kids that I come into contact with, that they grow up assuming it, not having to fight for it.
When I was learning, it was the ordinary people that were exciting. Like the simple fact that a Jamaican woman got on a boat and sailed over to the Crimean War to nurse. I thought, hallelujah!
That's Mary Seacole, innit?
Yeah, you have to look hard to find her, though.
Truly.
But that should be in there, in the school syllabus, so that after 17 you ain't left to take that journey alone. Because then when you buck up on it, you just feel hatred. Plus you're angry because it's like it's being kept from you.
The rest of the world took everything it's got from Africa. Africa is the root of creation.
And for me, that was the most important thing. First man, a source of gold. And when I think of Egypt, I think of civilization, you know?
I met some people who don't even know that Egypt is in Africa.
You know?
Yeah. But the stage I've reached now, I see that every culture's contribution takes a place. In the West, they're an outward people. They go out. The action, the technology and everything. In the east of the globe, they're inward, searching. Like different pillars of the same building.
I don't have the information you have, yeah, book-wise, but it seems to me you see to give equal status to each. Most don't give that respect. And it's like I have people saying to me now, "Anthony, why are you so consciously moving towards the black?" And I say, well, one of the reasons is because I'm so conscious of you moving away from it.
That's why I insist, when you deal with me as Lennie, deal with me as a black man. I don't think in the main that white people understand the relationship of a black person to his skin. For most, they get as far as, I don't think it's important. I don't think of you as a black man.
Don't see you as black.
You know?
I'm saying notice the skin.
But it's the first thing that's ignored, and it's the first thing that is used against me. And my argument is, no. See it. See the blackness and respect that.
Recently I went to this casting, and the brief they give me is like aggressive, energetic. Where from? Brixton. They've given no thought to the blackness at all.
When I go out for TV auditions, white directors always say to me, "Can you give me a bit of street talk?" It's really weird living in Lincoln as well, because it feels like there's no black people there at all.
Except you and your family.
I went up there to visit him one time.
Boy, you must have doubled the population.
I remember in a 4-star hotel in Derby, me and one of the other guys in the cast, we were having breakfast, right? And he was reading The Guardian and he had locks. And these businessmen had come down and it was like, hello? What tricks are they going to teach them next?